So here's a weird first. Today I'm going to be talking about a game that just released on Early Access, Manor Lords. I wanted to play this game after I saw other YouTubers play it. Shout out to Stakui, Alex the Rambler, and Tom. I got this game when it came out on Xbox Game Pass, which is good. If I had to actually pay money for this, I probably would be a lot more harsh with this game. I know it's early access and people have been waiting for several years for this game, but this game has been in development for several years, and right now I don't feel like it's worth the $40. Now that isn't to say I don't see the potential in this game, because I do. This game was developed by one guy, and for one guy this is a really good game, especially for early access. But you should also be careful and remember that tons of early access games do have great potential, but never leave early access and only succeed in stealing the fans' money. Now, I don't believe the creator is doing that. Playing this game, I believe there is passion in this. But it would also be wise to remember that maybe 9 out of 10 early access games never actually leave early access, and you should keep that in mind. Now then, about the game. Manor Lords is a civilization builder type kind of game. You know, kind of like SimCity, but it's more in line with something like Banished. You start the game by selecting one of the game modes. Well, really, it's just two, but you'll most likely just play the one game mode right now. There's Domination, where you capture all of the regions the other lords own, Conquest, which is capture all the regions, which really is the same thing, and grow your town to the highest level first. You can even choose to have a computer opponent off-screen or have no one besides the bandits. And now, we create our kingdom. I was hungry for some chicken at the time, so I made my coat of arms the delicious chicken. And there's also a set of pre-made portraits for you to select. I would like there to eventually be more customization options, you know, maybe in the future, but for now this will suffice. And we have to give ourselves a name. Let me just randomize it a bit and yep, that's a name. So the game starts with 5 families in homeless shelters. We have to get them the proper housings, but first things first, you should build a lumber mill so that they can cut some trees down, and while we're at it, let's just get a gatherer's hut for berries. And you know what? Some hunters so we can get some meat too. Oh well, we got a message from Lord yeah, I'm not even going to bother pronouncing that. Let's see what he has to say. I have heard of your renown. I only seek to defend my rights and my honor against those who have wronged me. I hope you will not judge me by the rumors and slanders that may have spread about me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Germany wrote a similar message back in the 30s. Oh look, we can write back. Oh, seems we can't really write out our letters, like Lord of the Realms 2 did.
How dare you insult me from afar! You pay for your insolence, you rat!
We can only click and drag these pre-made paragraphs. Sure, you have no rightful claims to sell bits in Hofstetten sounds good and all, but I personally would have gone with something like, fuck you, you melted Bob Odenkirk looking motherfucker, why don't you just hightail it out of this realm before I kick your ass so hard, you're gonna have no choice but to go work at a Cinnabon. Or, you know, something like that. So now that we have lumber, let's make some houses, so we can finally make a town out of this newly named settlement, Chicken... Good. Again, I was hungry for chicken at the time. And I gotta say, this is a neat feature. Sort of. You make these bird gauge plots by making 4 points to form what the block of houses will look like. This is really neat, and you can also give the houses some extended plots to have them grow things like carrots, or make chicken coops, which will generate passive amounts of food. But more on food later. While they're building, or anytime actually, you go in the third person and walk around your town. So you can also berate the peasants because they're lazy. Come on, people, get a move on! The Lord needs his chicken nuggies! Well, well, this is a fine building you're making here. Seems kinda small inside, though, and, oh. I am trapped. This is a really neat feature, and I would like to see this get expanded further in the future. Maybe even customize what our guy looks like, so I'm not just walking around in this doofy outfit with pointy shoes. Why did anyone wear pointy shoes like this? While you build your town up, the AI off-screen guy starts claiming the neutral areas one by one. And like, almost instantly, this guy seems to get the means to capture all of the regions right away. And if you don't have it set to him not claiming yours as well, you could find yourself losing before you even begin. You can fight him on the battlefield, but we have no means of having an army just yet. What you have to do to start building an army is first set up your villagers' requirements so you can upgrade their houses to level 2. That will give you access to level 2 artisan houses, which takes the families out of the working pool so they can focus on producing certain items, like shields, bows, clothes, stuff like that. They also get more needs, including a tavern, so they can drink their sorrows away as I tax them for every cent that they have. Now with level 2 houses, we can make a blacksmith house so they can craft weapons, which uses iron to... where's the iron? Huh. Well, it appears that we don't have an iron deposit in this region. In fact, we don't really have anything besides berries, deer, and some clay. Well, there's only one thing we can do now. Abandon it. Okay, starting a new village. I fully embrace the power of the 7 herbs and spices at this time, so I present Sanders, a true leader. Your village is going to need a marketplace in order to provide your people things like food, clothing items, and firewood to keep warm, because I guess they're too good to just go and take it from the storehouses. But you know what? I like what I have going so far. This is some nice looking set of developments. Again, there's not really a whole lot of iron in this region, but making a Lord's Manor lets us tax the people and give the church a percentage of food for influence, which is important to start claiming stuff, and it also gives us a retinue of swordsmen. Let's just make 2 units of bow guys, because we can't really make iron stuff, but we can use wood to make bows. And, oh no! Bandits are coming! Alright men, this is what you have been training for. These guys have no armor, they're just brigands. There's only about 30 of them or so you guys should have no problem shooting them, and what the hell are you guys doing? What are you doing? Loosen your arrows! Shoot them! They're 3 feet in front of you, and they're all dead. Okay, that seemed a little unfair. Okay, and now they're burning the village. Great. Alright, let's just abandon this one too. Yeah, before you guys go into the comments, I know archers have low defense and I shouldn't really have my army consist of only archers, but in my opinion, they should have taken more than 0 guys down. And again, I had no iron. I had to deal with what I had. Anyway, it took me about 5 tries before I got a good grasp on the game. What you're going to want to do is not start until you land on a spot with iron with this crown, meaning that it's a rich source. When you evolve your town, you get a perk to add to this perk tree for better development of your town. Here's why this perk system kinda brings this game down. For one, this isn't for all of the regions. Each region has their own tree, which means if you have one town with rich sources of berries and meat, or a town that's very good with wheat, or emmer, took me forever to figure out what the fuck emmer was, should focus their points on farming stuff, and much less on the mining tab. This is good. It adds to planning and thinking ahead on what you want. Here's the downside though. You only have so many points. Don't even bother putting points into making armor. And you know what, while we're at it, don't bother putting points in the apple farms, and the sheep really, or the plowing. Right now, there are a ton of perks that aren't really needed. Same goes with the policies. There are only 2 so far, and neither of them are good. For this rich iron deposit that we have, you're going to want this perk, the ability to make a rich deposit infinite even after it says it's depleted. Then, with that huge amount of iron you're going to get from the mines, you can refine them to make iron slabs, and then you can sell it at the trade market to make bank on all the iron. While you have that money pit going, you're going to want to develop your town by making almost all of your villagers carrot farmers. Sure, you can give them chicken coops, which is fine, but carrots produce a lot more, because the amount is dependent on the size of the backyard. Chicken coops do not. So make one house in a huge plot of land for carrots. And I'm going to turn another house into an apple farm for good measure, which you need a perk to get, which again I said is kind of useless, but anyway. Once you get some houses to level 2, make some of them blacksmiths so you can make weapons, and then make a shield house. I forget their names, to make shields, while also expanding more and more until you have a full army of 6 units. If you don't have a retinue yet, which when you do take one, they take a slot away, and if you have a full army and then remove a troop to replace them with another, you're going to be stuck with less. But I now have an army and I have the influence, so let's claim some land! Every time you claim something, the AI will meet you in the battle where you have to duke it out. And the battle begins, and... oh boy, this is not great. Now, in this guy's defense, he's not really focusing on combat as of right now, as far as I'm aware. And combat is not the main purpose of this game, so you shouldn't really go in expecting it to be like Total War. However, There is literally nothing you can do right now in terms of tactics or effort. Arrow units do jack shit except just take space, it looks like. I mean, maybe they can take a few guys out and it looks like they're pretty good against archer guys, but you can just move your troops forward and have them retreat. You can also hire mercenaries, but I never really did it, and when I tried, there weren't any mercenaries to hire anyway. But even then, they're way too expensive. So you just get a full army, keep them stocked with men and equipment, and you'll either win or lose. With chances are, you're gonna win. And you can get armor to give to your troops for more defense, but I didn't really see that much of a difference. They seem to die just as quickly. When you upgrade the manor once, you'll be able to fully fill the troop total by 12 to 24 retinues, which you also have to pay 50 gold out of your own money each time, not the villagers' money. There's 2 separate gold counts, which I didn't know that right away, but you buy the troops and then you can upgrade them to have armor. But a lot of features are locked now because of early access, obviously, like these level up systems. And it also seems like these guys don't kill anyone because this never fills up. But you can customize them by changing their name and equipment, including color, which means you could have a more uniformed army if you cared about these guys at all. Me? Nah, I just buy new troops when they die, but I can definitely see someone, including myself, roleplay this mechanic more when it gets more fleshed out. But yeah, this is essentially the game right now. But now let's talk about the growing problems I had with this game. For one, the computer AI seems to be completely brain dead. I had over 400 food and over 1,000 firewood in surplus. Yet these fuckers are all like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm cold. It gets to the point where it seems like they just don't want to do the work or do anything despite all of my efforts. The marketplace only gives it to the house closest to it first and then works its way out, which could be a problem in that the houses farthest away might never get the supplies they need. However, I made several marketplaces around the village, and even the ones that were right next to the houses don't give them anything. But it never really seemed to matter too much if they kept bitching about having no food or no firewood, because I didn't really have any deaths from that. But maybe, I couldn't really tell you if I did, these notifications aren't great. I did have bandits show up in the village catching me with my pants down because I didn't see the notification that enemies showed up. It only shows like one message at a time, and it's quickly going to move on to the next message. With each new region, you have to start them from scratch, and you can also trade their stuff into your main village. Like, I made one village all food so I can try and feed everyone. But that didn't really work out, mostly because my villagers were being too stupid and didn't know when I dropped some delicious chicken wings on their plate, but also the trade thing never seemed to really work properly. But with each new manor put into region, you get a brand new retinue. And also, the help you get isn't great either. The help page doesn't actually help you with how to get something. I looked up the shoe item to find out like what material I needed to craft with it, and all it gave me was this. Really helpful there. I don't know what the difference between an ox or a horse is, or a sheep versus a lamb, or redacted as this picture states, or if like tools really do anything yet. Luckily though, there is a huge fan base for this game already, and I was able to look up some of the problems I had online. And so, the dreaded Lord Sanders continued on with his conquest. One by one, each of the previously claimed regions were claimed by the Chicken Lord himself. Alright men, I know we're all freezing and probably don't want to battle for some land that the other guy hasn't even bothered to develop on, but I know you all want to give your lives for me so that I can have this land to grow my chicken empire. I know most of you are starving, even though I have tons of food for you, you just refuse to eat it for some reason. But take that hunger to fill your hunger for battle. As sure as my shoes are pointy, and this model looks nothing like the portrait I selected, we will win this battle. Sure, many of you might die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Come now, the enemy approaches. Charge! And with that, the final battle commences. And then my victory. And so that was Manor Lords. Again, this game is in early access, so this is more of a let's look at / give it a little bit of a critique in hopes that this video will help get the game noticed more, and maybe I can help improve the game a little bit along the way. Right now, if this game piques your interest, I would say keep a close eye on it. This game right now, in my opinion, is not worth the $40 price tag, but that isn't to say it won't be worth it in the future. I do have high hopes for it. but unless you're willing to make such a risky investment, which I would advise caution on, you would be better off just getting the Xbox PC Game Pass and then trying it out there first. That way, if you do like this game but don't want to commit the dollars yet, you can, which is how I did it. But if you do try this game out and you decide that you liked it enough that you want to support this guy, head on over to his Steam page and buy the game. When this game gets more work done on it, and maybe even when it gets out of early access, I will definitely consider getting it. There is a lot of potential for a great game here, and I do have hopes that it will live up to those expectations. I do look forward to seeing how the combat gets improved. Eventually there should be other computer players on the map itself, so the political aspects and the border tension mechanic should be great. Maybe even like a bigger map to make this game more dynamic and epic. I do look forward to seeing how this game progresses and maybe even give it a fair full review when it comes out. But so far you're doing a good job, Greg. Keep up the good work.
We will watch your career with great interest.